Hey everyone, it's Types, and today I decided that we have to talk about the Tera Pokemon in the TCG because in the video game they're really cool. I guess I don't really play the video game, but they look cool because they allow you to change type. In the TCG, it's not quite that simple. In fact, the TCG, the main gimmick is that I don't know if I'd say the main gimmick, but the main gimmick that they all have is that now you're immune to bench damage, which is very underwhelming, honestly. It's something that I've forgotten about. I have attacked them on the bench, and then it doesn't do damage. And I'm like, wait, what? Oh, that's a thing. But it very rarely comes up. But I wanted to talk about the Terra Pokemon, how well they have changed the game because they are supposed to. They were implemented, in my opinion, to change the way that weakness works in the Pokemon TCG. So for those of you who don't know, weakness is ×2 in the TCG, which pretty much redefines matchups sometimes. In fact, not in a good way, but makes certain matchups just not fun. The winner is decided before the game starts, and it's not great. So instead, Terra Pokemon are here to come in and give type diversity to decks, and now they can attack with another Pokemon of the same energy type, because of course playing multiple energy types it reduces your consistency. So now you want to play just one energy type, but hit different weaknesses. For example, the Charizard EX here is Dark type, and it's a Charizard normally Fire type. And then that means that you can use Fire Energy to pay this Dark type Pokemon's attack cost, hit a better weakness, and overall just be a better Pokemon, but still have Fire Energies in your deck to attack with Fire Pokemon, so you can still hit those Grass weak Pokemon. Or those Grass Pokemon that are weak to Fire, there's Metal Pokemon weak to Fire. It's a bit of an interesting dynamic, but I wanted to take a look and see if it actually ends up working out. First of all, there are a lot of Terra Pokemon that don't change types for some reason, and they're all going to land in F tier, except for one. At the Dene, I need to change to this. Dene, Greedent, Arcanine, we got, and most of these are bad as well. Gyarados, and by the way, not all Terra Pokemon, not all EXs are Terra Pokemon. All Terra Pokemon are EXs though. Dragonite. I suppose Dragonite does actually offer a little bit of type diversity, as it is Dragon type, which is kind of a more unique type. It is multiple types of energy. I guess I'll place it out of F, but I don't know, it's pretty not great. Yeah, you got Slowking, you got I think that's about it. Yeah, and then you also have Surprisingly, Fortress actually allows for a little bit of type diversity, as it is played, I guess, in like Dragon decks and can accelerate Grass Energy, which could be useful for colorless decks. It's not great. It's kind of bad, but it kind of has some type diversity, which is nice. Meaning that you can hit Grass weakness. Of course, Grass weakness is not the greatest weakness to talk about to hit, but we will talk about that. Hits weakness on Roaring Mutant, and also hits weakness on this Charizard, which we'll again talk about. Of course, being Grass Pokemon, you are weak to Fire. So I guess let's just talk about Charizard, and I'll talk about Skeledirge as well. Both of these are, they're not Fire, but they use Fire Energy, meaning that now in a Fire-type deck, you can of course have Fire-type Pokemon, you can have a Dark-type Pokemon, Charizard EX, and a Metal-type Pokemon in Skeledirge EX, allowing you to hit these three weaknesses. Now, Metal weakness is not the best to hit. It's not the worst. You do hit Chien-Pao, do hit Baby Gardevoir, I think. You don't hit Gardevoir EX, I know. I don't know, you hit a few things. It's not the worst weakness, but it's certainly not the best to hit. Dark weakness, on the other hand, is a very nice weakness to hit, as you will hit the Gardevoir EX, you will hit Mew VMAX, and you'll hit, maybe that's about it. But you will hit those two, which are big Pokemon that are hard to KO, so hitting those for weakness is really nice. Of course, that's not the question. That's part of the question. It does allow you to hit those different types of weakness, which is nice. But is it actually played in this way? And this is where things get a bit messier. Skeledirge is more so of supporting Pokemon, although you do have to play Fire Energy to use it. So in that sense, I would say Skeledirge has worked. I'd say put in A tier. It's not the strongest Pokemon, but it's a very decent one that I will expect to see play. Some is also new. A lot of these are new. Around like half of them all. I don't know which ones are. I don't know if Best Quinn's new or not. But yeah, so Skeledirge is, I guess I'll pull it up, Skeledirge. Skeledirge EX from, oh, it was from Paradox Rift. Okay, apparently it was from Paradox Rift. I really don't remember. And then, there's also Skeledirge EX. So there's another Skeledirge EX. Both Skeledirge and Charizard have two EXs. And so A Skeletor, so they have a Tera and a non-Tera. The non-Tera ones are both worse, I'd say. I don't know, they probably are. But they are both fire as well. So you can actually run a Skeledirge EX deck with two Skeledirge EXs of different types, which is cool. Incendiary Song, that allows you to discard a fire energy from your hand to do 60 more, which is pretty good. You have an attack as well. Luster run 160 for 2 fire, which is actually a perfect amount of damage to one-shot Pokemon that are weak to you. So I think Skeledirge is really nice. It's not like a super powerful card, but it's a really interesting card that really fits the bill of a like one that is a different type, as it just does that well. It can support. This is a stage 2. Me, stage 2 isn't great. It means that you don't have a lot of room for other stuff in your deck, but with Skeledirge, I do think you will find room to put some other things there. Charizard EX, on the other hand, has been played and it's been good. But I'm only gonna also put it in A. In fact, I'll put it below Skeledirge. I don't know how order this will be. But Skeledirge is, well, it's not great, but it is with fire Pokemon. Charizard EX is not as much. It is sometimes with fire Pokemon. I guess I should probably put an S, actually. It's by far the best Pokemon on this list, I think. Yeah, I'm taking a quick glance, and it definitely looks like the best Pokemon on this list. Because it's you can play it with, previously people just played like Charizard EX and no fire Pokemon other than the pre-evolutions, which just really aren't great attackers. And that meant that people would play grass Pokemon to hit Charizard EX show weakness. But now in your Charizard EX deck, you can put other fire Pokemon, or people are doing that you obviously could before, in the terms of Entei and possibly Delphox, not as common, and Radiant Charizard. Radiant Charizard has seen play in and out of the deck a bunch, and it's really great in the deck because it's fire type. And I mean, it's a good card in general. That being said, it's one-shotting stuff without weakness. It's not a cheap attacker. I mean, it's a weird attacker. It's Radiant. All of them are kind of weird, but Radiant Charizard is the best fire Pokemon in the game, I'm pretty sure, depending how you break it down, but it almost certainly is. And Charizard EX can be paired with it, so you do get this type diversity, not a ton, not as much as I would like, but it's still pretty good, and it's definitely the best Tera EX by, I think, a pretty wide margin. So, and there are two new ones that are pretty good as well, but I think Charizard EX is the best. Next up, we got ourselves Icecue, which is water energy. And it's just okay. Icecue is I think it's like a wall based. Did I misspell it? No. Looks like Limitless is sad. Did I crash? I don't know if I crashed. You can still see it. It looks like Limitless is sad though. So anyway, so Icecue I think it like walls or something. Its attack isn't that good. It's really a bland Pokemon. The issue is that you'd pair it with Shampoo Excalibur, to get that type coverage, which is okay. But then Shampoo Excalibur one-shot stuff anyways. That being said, I think Icecue is viable, so I will end up putting it in A tier. I don't despise this card. Oh, and I guess we also have Frostlass EX. I don't exactly remember what Frostlass does. But Frostlass, it's like spread based. It's okay. It's a very mediocre card. Again, hitting grass typing isn't, bro. Limitless is just like not working. What is this? Come on, Limitless. Okay, well, whatever. Limitless isn't working. But I'd say Frostlass is. I'll put it in B. I feel like grass typing is not a great typing to be. And this is stage 1 as well. It's not great. It's not techable. It's not great. I could see putting in A. Also, it's interesting if you have other Pokemon good from the same line. If you're in evolution, you really don't. So you do have some things. I'll leave it in B for now, though. Tyranitar is super weird. The best single price Tyranitar is a Dark Tyranitar. I don't even know if there's a Fighting Tyranitar. The card's okay. Lightning Weakness is good, so I'll leave it in A tier. It's a very generic, big, like attacking stage 2. I definitely don't hate the card, and so I think putting in A tier is pretty solid and pretty fair. Yeah, it was also one of the earlier ones, alongside Charizard, that changed types. It's kind of viewed in that sense. It's not awful. You compare it with, I think, Lucario, which is a fighting Pokemon, from Brilliant Stars. That was a pretty cool card, and yeah, so that's just pretty neat. Vespiquen is another spread one. This one's just not good. It's psychic type, but like grass is so bad that you can't really like power it up. It's a nice addition. It's a decent type to hit, I guess. It's not great right now, anyways, but psychic has been a decent weakness at times. But it just really, it's not there. I really think Vespiquen EX is like a big letdown. Probably one of the worst EXs. Oh, there we go. Yes, I can pull up Frostlass Frostlass EX for you, which is, yes, it's a spread-based Pokemon. Oh, it has like its weird coin flip ability that gives up one less prize half the time, but it's not good. There is a Frostlass that allows you to like accelerate on play, but it's just not that good. So I think yeah, I think Frostlass and B is fair. And then yeah, as I said, the Vespiquen is like a spread Pokemon, and then Tyranitar, I think there a fighting Tyranitar format? No, there is not a fighting Tyranitar format, which kind of takes away the point, part of the point. So I should drop Tyranitar down to. I'll keep it in A. I'll drop Icecue down. I feel like Icecue is a bit underwhelming. It's not awful. Fire type's like an interesting type to hit for weakness, but Metal and Grass aren't great, right? They're kind of bad. And then for Grass Energy, you have Serena EX. This one's really bad. I mean, it's not actually a really bad Pokemon, but um, there are some okay Serenas, um, but they're not. I mean, okay, like they're vaguely passable, but like water and grass coverage isn't quite enough that you're looking for. And then you obviously you have your first attack, which is like it doesn't do any damage, so it doesn't hit for weakness. The second attack it does hit for weakness. It is okay, but it's very mediocre. It's a stage 2 for 2 energy, which is not super easy to power up. Um, so all in all, I think not Frostlass, I think Serena EX is not good. Garchomp EX is really weird. So Garchomp EX, there is only one Garchomp in the format, which is what I was thinking, which is Dragon type. So it doesn't hit any weakness, but it's fighting and water energy. So we have seen fighting Garchomps, but this is a water Garchomp, but your deck, if you're playing it with other Garchomp, you're playing water energy anyway. In actuality, it's pretty decent. It's like a good card. I think it doesn't have the best partners, but it works well with fighting Pokemon. So I think it does give you this type coverage in these fighting decks quite well. I just take some dock some points. I wish it was some type that wasn't water, because Garchomp is generally water fighting. Let's see. Garchomp, I think it's been grass. Has it ever been grass, or is it always? Yeah, it looks like it's always been water fighting. This is psychic because Giratina. But yeah, so water fighting is kind of weird because it's water Pokemon, and it hasn't been water before, I don't believe, but I don't know. I think it's cool. I would like to see it as some other type though. And water is not the best type to be hitting as a weakness either. Then we got I'll say Mewtwo for the end because that one's probably better than these other two. We got Toxtricity. Toxtricity is just so generic. I don't like it. Maybe it's okay, but fighting weakness is a good weakness to hit. I guess I'll move it up to B tier. Lightning is okay. You can get the energy on. You can stick this in your Flaffy base deck. I guess it's just not great though. You want to be hitting these like middling amounts of damage, and Toxtricity's first attack hits not enough, and second attack hits just a lot, which is good, but continuing stuff anyway. You're looking for like 2 energy, 180, 160, which is some stage 2s. And it just not. I don't know. I feel like Toxtricity just lets you down some. There isn't really good Toxtricity in format either. Um, there's what there's there's a bunch. I kind of forgot I don't even know what all these Toxtricities are. All I knew was this one. But this one's like, oh, there's this control one, which is mediocre. There's the one with different types, Loud Mix. And then apparently there's one. Oh, Paralyzes. Have never heard of this Pokemon. I've never seen this Pokemon before ever. I don't think. I mean, I must have, but I just don't remember. But this one's okay. It's kind of weird. I guess it synergizes with multi-type Pokemon. Maybe Toxtricity. I think Toxtricity and B is fair. okay, a little bit of interesting type coverage, but it's just really awkward as well. So overall, I feel like Toxicity does let you down quite a bit. The Pokemon itself is really boring. Hoopa, I don't remember exactly what Hoopa does, but Hoopa's like impossible to power up because you have ways to select Dark Energy to Dark Pokemon, which is good. Actually, the card's cool. I'll put it in B. I'll put it in high B. It's really hard to power up. It has Energy Crush, which is 50 more for each energy attached to all your opponent's Pokemon. Dark types are a good type to hit for weakness 50 times. That can hit that can one-shot Arceus, which is very nice as a dark type Pokemon. I feel like Hoopa is pretty cool. The big issue is the main way to power up this Pokemon. A Pokemon like this, if it was dark type, would be Dark Patch, and you don't have Dark Patch. So overall, I'd say Hoopa is pretty underwhelming. I think it's it's not like awful. It's cool. Um, just within the meta, it doesn't have quite the right tools, but overall, I think Hoopa's a cool Pokemon. I might try out, honestly. But fighting types, good weakness, dark types, good weakness, and yourself have different weaknesses as well. I didn't really mention that too much, but you get different weaknesses, which is nice. I mean that in every matchup you will have some Pokemon that's not weak. Presumably, if you both have Teras, it's really cool though as well. Lastly, we got Mewtwo EX. So I'm gonna put an S tier as well. It's pretty cool. It's pretty decent. It's just a generic Psychic Pokemon damage ramp basic Pokemon. Naturally synergistic with the new Zadu. It's not as good as Charizard, but it's a cool card. I like it. Um, its first attack is pretty bad, but it's lightning typing. That's a pretty decent weakness to be hitting right now. As I said, your damage output's decent. It can scale as well, so I think Mewtwo's decent. It's good when you're not hitting for weakness. It's very good if you are hitting for weakness. Overall, I'd say Mewtwo EX is a pretty cool card. But all in all, I wish Pokemon did a bit more of the Tera Pokemon. I wish there's a tool that you attached that gave it a different Tera type, or like it was a whole mechanic, and it's like kind of a mechanic, but nowhere near the level of V Stars or GX attacks, which is kind of what it feels like it should be. Um, Overall, though, I do hope Pokemon does more of the Terra mechanic. It is really interesting. It has the potential to be really cool. But right now, it's pretty mediocre, and I'd say it's not as interesting as really any mechanic before. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider subscribing. That helps me out a lot. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.